we get on in the race. So let's stick on a fresh soft front tyre and we're going to go for a fresh medium rear tyre. It's a 6-lap race, so let's bump it up to 7.5 laps worth of fuel just so we can play around with the power modes. So here we go into the Jerez Grand Prix, starting from the front of the pack. You can see all the bikes weaving around trying to get the tyres warmed up as best they can in the background as we go through the grid. Again, we want to get this scene done so we can head into the Grand Prix, but we want to grab a decent thumbnail at the same time. I do love the look of that bike. It's really grown on me to the point I'm half tempted to try and stay with DHL for the next season and try and have a very similar looking bike in the Moto 2 category, but we shall see. So we shall head on now into the race and see what we can do amongst this field. Don't forget to pull the clutch in, there we go. No penalty as we come away from the grid this time. We'll drop it back into power mode 1 for the first couple of laps and just settle into this race and see where we're at. Just very nearly get taken out there by the low side in Mazda. We're getting eaten alive here on the inside. This could be, like we say, the AI are a lot stronger in the race. Let's see if we can all with that. We've lost some positions, but we'll look to make them up as we go through this race. So we go back up the inside there of Salak and try and push him out. A little very aggressive racing, but we got the job done. Again, the engine on this bike is showing its weaknesses down every straight. You just get absolutely eaten alive. You go very deep into that hairpin. Be careful. A little bit of light damage there from the bike that slid into us. What a big crash behind us there from Yuki Kilney. We'll try and put the power down and climb back up the order. P17 is not going to cut it. If we miss out on the top 10, then the difficulty will be coming down slightly. We've gone from front of the grid to P17 in the space of a lap, so that's just the LA showing their strength during the races. Flat out through that right hander now as we've really dialed into this circuit, I feel. We'll get the power down as early as we can there. We'll chase off after Onku as well. Once again, rival from the last race. We were a bit further back last time, but we'll see. There's overtakes happening all over the place, all through the grid, up the front, down the back, in the middle. As we try and get back up the inside of Onku, as we have done there. And now we're going to try and get up the road after Fernando Salek. I think it's Fernando, could be wrong. Got a little bit off track there, we'll get away with it. I'm going to bump it into power mode 2 to try and close the gap to the bikes in front of us, and at the same time pull away from behind us. Carlos Tay taken down every race so far this season, I'm pretty sure. Garcia was just getting left for dust down there again. But thankfully they're a lot more hesitant in the braking zone. We've gone a bit deep again, so we don't want to get too cocky. The back end of our bike tapped once again, so we need to be careful there. We're having good battles down here in the midfield, but we don't want to be in the midfield. We want to be at the front end of the field. We want to be at the front of the midfield at least, not battling for P18. Right, the bike's got damage again, but this time it wasn't our fault. Last race, arguably it was. We shouldn't have been so aggressive, but this race, that damage came from sliding bikes into us. Stand on the brakes, try and close this gap up to Sasaki in front of us and Garcia. We'll see what we can do. The fastest lap of a 52.4 has been set. That's the lap time I set in qualifying for reference. So, I mean, that's front runner pace we had in qualifying, but just going to try and find that pace again in the race. It's going to be hard with the damaged bike. Cruise through there on the AstroTurf on the inside and pick up a bit of a time penalty. As we're on our third lap of this race, try and get back up the inside of Onku, try and stay off the grass at the same time. And here we go to the straight where we're just going to get eaten alive by all these bikes. And try and keep on the inside of them. Still a little bit deep for my liking, not as deep as before. Onku's starting to gap us a little bit. Now we're really starting to struggle with the speed of this bike, so I think we're going to drop the difficulty back down those 5 pegs back to where I think last race it was, as I suspected, the AI are not very good in the wet. We'll finish this episode and we'll drop the difficulty down for the next episode. We've now got moderate damage on our motorcycles, so less than ideal. Probably touched him, that's why it doesn't make sense to me, but there we go. It turned into the last corner, hit that apex. I want to do exactly what he just did, but I keep missing it. Valentino's been giving his brother some lessons, I think. And again, down this straight, just getting absolutely blasted by everyone. So, some work to do on the bike still. We've got engine upgrades in the pipeline. And we throw it down the road. Just see if we can keep pace with Nev. Everyone else is gone now due to that crash. It'll be 10 seconds or so up the road in front of us, which is a shame. This bike's got no turning anymore from the instance we've been involved in. No front end, no power. What a miserable race. So we're just, again, the braking power's gone as well from the damage we have. Let's turn the engine braking up to 4. Three and a half seconds behind our closest rival, and he's just pulling away. The damage on this bike is really becoming apparent now, to a point where I'm tempted, we're out the points, I'm tempted to throw it in the pit lane and retire. If I'm honest with you, I think that's what I'm going to do. Which is a shame, but we will leave it there. I wonder what happens on this animation, whether it's actually going to stop outside our pits or if it's just going to ride all the way through and out the other side. All the way through and out the other side. So we will retire from this race. go and play the settings as Vietti wins yet another race. He's going to be our main rival, I think. We're now 5 points behind John McPhee in the championship, who has taken over the lead, the fellow Brit on a fellow Honda, so that's nice to see. As you can see in our background, our rider is not sure what he's doing, but it seems to be reversing around the track. Why, I don't know. It's quite a disappointing episode for you guys tonight. I do apologise for that, but like I say, we're trying to work out where we need to have the difficulty slider to give you some close racing. After the first race, after the last race in the wet, where we were so much quicker until we got damage for it up the road, I think that's where we are. So we're going to drop this back down to 55 where we were, leave everything else as it is.